Hi everyone, Happy New Year. So today I am going to try to finish up the craft room floor. So I'm here in the craft room and many of you have asked questions about the flooring. Is it difficult? What type of flooring is it? Is it a kit? How do you put it together? So I thought that maybe I would go through a little demonstration for you and then try to get this wrapped up. So here we go. So the flooring I am using is a laminate flooring, and there are two types of laminate flooring. One is regular laminate or the fake wood laminate, and the other is a vinyl laminate. And the laminate I am using is the fake wood laminate, and mine, it's not a kit. As you can see, I have packages of the laminate. I had to measure the room, get the dimensions of the room, and then you can go online and there's a chart and you can actually estimate how much you need to order. And I think I had to order 18 of these boxes. And I think the color is just called cherry wood. And basically when you lay down a laminate flooring, you usually have an underlaying, which is a seal barrier that goes on the floor. Now, if you're laying a flooring down in a basement, you would definitely need to use that because you would need that as a moisture barrier between the cement floor and the laminate flooring. But my flooring, and normally on a regular floor, you would have a thin layer. You can also get thicker layers, which help to create a sound barrier. But the flooring that I have, and I think that I've told you this before, my flooring came with this foam backing. So that is my barrier. And it's, already attached to the flooring piece, which is great. I don't have to worry about laying down underlaying and cutting that. So this is very convenient to have this. So the difference between laminate flooring and the vinyl flooring is how the pieces attach to each other. And with vinyl flooring, there are just grooves, almost like a puzzle piece, and you can snap them together flat and they will stay. With a laminate flooring, you have two edges. You have this edge, which, you probably can't see it. I'll put the diagram on the screen. And this edge actually goes in at a 45-degree angle into the other side of the laminate. You can see that there's a groove there. So it's almost like a tongue and groove type thing. And I'll demonstrate here. So it goes in at a 45-degree angle like this. And then when you lay it flat and pop it, it'll pop into place and lock along this seam. And when you do a laminate flooring or a vinyl flooring, any type, you want to make sure that you cut the pieces at different widths, so that you can establish a pattern. Because otherwise, if you took, and by the pattern I mean, you can see these groove lines that are going every other piece. Otherwise, your flooring, if you just took it straight out of the box, your flooring would be all one piece with all the groove lines in the same position. And that might look kind of weird on your flooring. So this kind of breaks it all up. But it's very, very easy. You just snap this into place. And then there's an edge along this side. And that's where the next piece that comes along will actually slide into that edge. And I'll demonstrate that for you too. So here are the simple tools that you need. You do need pliers in case your floor has any type of nails or staples, because you need to be laying this on a flat surface. Then you have your pounding mallet, which is just a rubber mallet. You have I don't even know what you call this. This you put up against the side and just tap it to make sure that the flooring is tight. And then you have this pry bar, which at the end, it fits down over the flooring, and then you hammer that end and it pulls the gaps in. So I'll show you what I mean by that. You see this piece right here? There's a gap. So I left that there on purpose. So I'm going to insert this up here at the end. And then when I pound this little knob right here with the mallet, what it's going to do is it's going to pull that board tight so that that gap will disappear. And voila, that gap is gone. So unfortunately, I didn't have a very good, I think they call it a pry bar. I did not have a very good one at the beginning of this project, so I do have some gaps in my flooring that's over on that side, but oh well. And then the final thing that you need to cut the pieces is either one of these laminate cutters, which again is just you put the laminate in there, you see me using this and you cut it, or you can have an oscillating saw or some of the power saw, jigsaw, an easel saw, sawzall I think, and you could use those to cut also. Of course, you always need a vacuum cleaner also because you want to make sure that the flooring underneath is clean when you're laying down either the underlayment or, in my case, just doing the straight laminate flooring. And something else I should mention too, for prep work, when you're getting ready to do the room, you do need to remove the baseboards from the perimeter of the room. I also removed the front cap of that radiator, and you will also need to put spacers along the wall because the flooring should not be plumb up against the wall because it needs room to contract. So depending on the weather. Okay, so let's get this finished. So future Carrie here doing the voiceover. I think I finished this flooring last Friday and Saturday. It did take me a second day, but when you see the end result at the end of this video, I'm sure that you will be just as pleased as I am. So stay tuned to the end too. I have a little dog clip. It was snowing today, and we got probably a good 4 to 5 inches, and the dogs love it when it snows. They go outside and they play in it. But so anyway, you'll see throughout this video that I don't know why it is, but it always seems that as you get to the final stages of a project, that's when the problems seem to pop up. And believe me, they were popping up for me. Right here, I was removing an uneven bump in the plywood in the floor there because that would have affected how that particular piece laid. But so anyway, I did mention in my last video that before I left to go visit my son for Christmas, that my therapist had come over to the house and had done a walkthrough, and she was very pleased with the progress that she saw on the floor and what else I had been doing in the house. She did mention though that she really wanted to see me get started on the basement, just doing something. It didn't matter what, and I can understand that. someone left a comment, I think, in my last video that they thought my therapist was being too easy on me. And I don't think that's the case at all. I don't know how many um, hoarding disorder cases, that she's dealt with, but I can tell you from experience that every person and every one of their situations is completely different. No two hoarders are alike. And I'm sure that it takes time for her to analyze and evaluate, what's going to work with me versus what's going to work with somebody else. And sometimes you don't know that right away. It will pop up clear out of the blue, like it did with, when I had my meltdown after dropping my son's clothing off at the clothing bin. I wasn't expecting that. She certainly wasn't expecting that, I'm sure. So sometimes it's just you have to wait and see what happens as you go along. And we know that dealing with my father's stuff in the basement is going to be an issue. But who knows what else is going to be an issue as I go through this journey. So I just wanted people to keep that in mind, um, that it's not a one solution fits all type thing for everybody. Um, so anyway, now that I do have the flooring finished, I have to find another 20-minute project to do. I did work on the bedroom. As a matter of fact, the bedroom is going to be finished up this week. And I'm going to have hopefully a lot of cleaning done this week. My computer has to go in for a tune-up and an upgrade for memory and battery and Windows storage. So I'm going to be without my computer for probably a good 2 to 3 days this coming week, which will give me time to, or maybe it'll actually force me to focus on cleaning, getting some other areas of the house done before tax season hits full force. I had mentioned that I did want to get the kitchen all cleaned and organized, but since that is my workspace and I love doing that. When the kids were younger, I was the type of person that if we were leaving for vacation, or just even if it was going away for the weekend, I would spend the whole time leading up to when we left just cleaning the house. I would even pull an all-nighter sometimes. And I mean everything from organizing, cleaning, mopping the floors, getting laundry done, because there's nothing. I loved the feeling of coming home to a clean house. I need to get back there somehow. But that's how I am with my workspace. Whenever I start off tax season, I have to have a clean workspace to start off with. I don't know. I think it's probably just, something in my mind that, okay, we're starting the new tax year, starting off fresh, and I want to have my workspace all clear too. So getting back to, so I'll be working on that. I really haven't done a lot this week, to be honest, just because, again, I have been getting the new tax software ordered and downloaded and getting tax organizers and newsletters out to my clients. So that's kind of been keeping me busy. But next week, I hope to get a good couple of days in of cleaning. I want to get the baseboards back down in this room that we're working on right now, and get all the light switch plates back on the wall, get some curtains hung, just the finishing touches before I start moving furniture back into this room. And we'll finish up the bedroom. That is almost done. I just need to get another bin for the stuff that's in my son's closet. The kids will be home actually next weekend because my granddaughter is getting christened. It's her baptism, and they're having the baptism here at our church, our family, the church that we've been going to as a family forever. So they will both be in town. I don't expect my son, to come over here to the house and do anything because he's going to have his hands full, entertaining relatives and in-laws and that whole bit. But my daughter did say that she would come over and, start going through stuff in her room if I wanted her to. I told her what happened with, dropping my son's clothing off and how the therapist said that she didn't want me taking, any more of the kids' stuff out of the house. So she said that she would come over and go through some of her stuff and go drop it off at either the clothing bin or Salvation Army, depending on what it is. So that'll be good. And I did go down and start working in the basement this week. So just to give you a heads up, you'll be seeing a little video on that. Not tackling any of my father's stuff yet. I just chose an area actually over by the door because I was getting tired of having to reach behind things to find the light switch. And what you saw it in my first video, I just basically have a path, and I'm tired of the path. And I was looking for some things down there and I couldn't find them. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to start down here. And you'll see that in the next video, just a little clip, but I do want to start on the bag room also, because now that the craft room is finished, I know that I have some craft stuff in that room and I want to get it moved up here. And I know that I also have some work supplies in that room. So I need to kind of do an inventory to see what I need to order. And here I am on the next day. So this must be Saturday because I worked Friday and Saturday on this room. And funny thing, this floor, like I said, it always happens when you get towards the end of the project. The floor on this side of the room was actually uneven. So I was having a hard time snapping those boards in because they would, I would get one end in and the other end would pop out. And it was driving me crazy. And you'll see how it's kind of a little raised. That last row is a little raised, and I just put some heavy boxes and some items on that to get that to lay flat until I get the baseboards put back down, and then that will hold it. But I was so happy that I didn't end up having to cut any of these lengthwise. It worked out perfectly, the room dimensions. So you can see that I'm having trouble getting that to snap into place there. But I hope everyone had a nice holiday season and that the new year has started off right for you. 2026. Gosh, I can remember when it was 2000 and everybody was going crazy over Y2K, right? All the computers are going to shut down. Everything's not going to work. And yeah, that didn't amount to anything, did it? Thank goodness. So yeah, I've also been going through some of my clothes. Getting ready to donate some of those. It's like I have boxes of clothes and clothes hanging in my closet, and it's always oh yeah, when I lose weight, I'll fit into these again. Well, unfortunately, here I am right now. There was a staple stuck in the floor, so I had to dig that out. But anyway, going back to even if I lose weight, the clothes, number one, they're very formal, like business suits when I used to work at the CPA firm. and before then I worked at a bank. So I will probably never, ever, ever wear those again. Um, I might keep one or two, maybe just to have them just in case, but the rest are going to go. And see what I mean? How this fit in perfectly. The only thing is that as you get closer to the wall, putting these last couple of rows down, I was running out of space to maneuver. Um, so I couldn't use my tapping little board anymore, that thing. Um, but I had the pry bar to work with. So anyway, nothing else has been going on. Like I said, other than just getting ready for tax season. IRS opens up on the 26th, so yay. But it'll be nice to see the kids this coming weekend and get the baptism all done. My daughter is back from deployment, so that's nice. I sent out all their Christmas stuff. I was waiting until she got back because I figured no sense in sending it ahead of time, especially with all the porch pirates. So, and here we are laying the last piece. Gosh, so glad this room is done. So glad. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you. And we are done. Oh my gosh. Thank gosh. This final piece right here, I'm going to leave for now because I really should cut that rug back a little bit more so I can put the divider piece or whatever it's called down. So this I'm just going to cover up with a throw rug right now until I get around to trimming that rug.